First story hook *** explosions ripped through the outskirts of Kherson just minutes ago, sending shockwaves across the front line. The sky lit up with fire, and Ukrainian defenders were left scrambling. Is Russia launching yet another major push? Hello everyone, welcome back to the War Diary channel. Please subscribe and like my videos. We are diving today into Russia's latest strike, how it has stunned Ukraine, and the new twist unfolding on the battlefield. Let's break it down from all angles. On the exterior, the battlefield landscape is shifting dramatically. Russia seems to be employing a new combined arms assault, heavy artillery barrages, long-range missile strikes, drone swarms overhead, and fast-moving mechanized columns pushing forward under cover of smoke and electronic jamming. The lines between front zones are less distinct. Forward positions once thought secure are now under threat from surprise flank attacks. Entire segments of terrain that Ukrainians had hardened, trenches, forward supply routes, observation posts are under fresh bombardment. In many cases, the Russians are striking from unexpected axes, forcing Ukrainian units to reposition or risk encirclement. The external pressure is relentless. Salvos of rockets, multiple rocket launchers, airstrikes, drone attacks, electronic warfare pulses to scramble communications, and infiltration teams probing weak spots in the defense. On the interior, meaning inside the occupied zones, command posts, logistic corridors, and underground tunnels are under continuous harassment. Russian forces are targeting supply lines, forward field hospitals, ammunition dumps, and even fuel lines deep behind the front. Ukrainian defenders are finding that even their interior sanctuaries are not safe. Drones and guided munitions are penetrating further behind the lines. This interior pressure is disrupting the flow of reinforcements, resupply, evacuation, and command and control. Performance. How this strike is playing out is remarkable in terms of speed and coordination. Russia appears to have refined its timings. Bombardment softens key points, drone swarms force defenders to reveal positions, mechanized units then surge, backed by close air support. In some sectors, Russian units have managed to breach forward Ukrainian lines within hours, capturing trenches and observation posts. On other fronts, defenders have held, but only by pulling back and ceding ground to avoid large casualties. The surprise twist is how Russia is shifting reinforcements dynamically, moving reserves rapidly to threatened sectors, using mobile artillery and rocket systems to plug gaps, and using electronic warfare to degrade Ukrainian intel. In sectors where Ukraine expected a stalemate, sudden breakthroughs have stunned local commands. Also, Russia is testing new unmanned systems and guided munitions, forcing Ukrainian forces to reevaluate their countermeasures. When it comes to safety features for Ukraine's side, this translates into how well defenders can protect troops, civilians, and infrastructure under this assault. Ukrainians have increasingly relied on mobile air defense systems, electronic countermeasures, hardened bunkers, camouflage, active protection systems on armored vehicles, and layered defense zones. In many cases, strategic fallback positions are pre-prepared so troops can retreat to safer zones under cover. Civilian shelters and underground hubs are reinforced, and evacuation corridors are maintained, but the challenge is Russian strikes now reach deeper. Some command centers are relocating frequently to avoid detection. Ukrainian units are more decentralized now, so losing one node doesn't collapse an entire front. On Russia's side, safety for their advancing columns depends on suppressive fire, drone overwatch, counter-battery radars, and quickly establishing forward logistical bases. They also push electronic warfare zones to blind defenders and reduce the risk to their advancing troops. Next, unique selling points. What makes this Russian strike and the strategic twist behind it different from past patterns? First, the element of surprise on multiple axes. Rather than concentrating just in one region, they are advancing in multiple zones simultaneously, forcing Ukraine to spread its resources thin. Second, integration of drones, electronic warfare, and precision strike. Russia is using drone swarms not just for reconnaissance but as attack tools, pairing them with jamming and hacking to blind defenders. Third, rapid mobility and dynamic reserves. Rather than static advances, they are shifting forces from one sector to another on short notice. Fourth, deep penetration strikes. Attacks not only on the front line but targeting rear areas. Logistics, command centers breaking the interior security. Fifth, psychological pressure. By striking in new zones, Russia is undermining defender confidence and forcing them to overextend. Sixth, testing new weapon systems under combat conditions, we see experimental drones, guided artillery, and communications jammers being trialed. Now, price not in money but in costs, the toll here is immense. Ukraine is suffering casualties, loss of territory, disrupted supply lines, and stress on morale. The cost in human life, infrastructure, civilian displacement, and strain on military resources is steep. Russia also pays a price: losses in men and material, logistical strain, the challenge of sustaining advances, vulnerability to counterattacks, and increasingly stretched supply lines. International backlash, sanctions, diplomatic costs, and the risk of escalation are also part of the price tag. For Ukraine, every inch lost demands reserves and new defensive lines. For Russia, every gain must be consolidated or risk being retaken. In conclusion, this new Russian strike is not just another push, it's a refined, multi-axis assault, testing Ukraine's adaptability, resilience, and supply networks. The twist lies in speed, depth, mobility, electronic warfare, and drone integration. Ukraine is under shock, but not helpless. Its defenders are adapting, retreating smartly when needed, decentralizing, and using countermeasures. The battle is far from over. We must watch how Ukraine's allies respond with weapons, intelligence, and reinforcements. The turning point may rest on who can sustain, adapt, and strike back harder.